All right, so let's let's dive into this world where money's no object. We're talking about the 2023 Forbes Billionaires List.
Yeah, those people who could basically just buy a small country if they wanted to.
Right, we've got all the data straight from Forbes themselves. Rankings, names, all those crazy net worth figures.
And of course, how they built those fortunes in the first place.
It's kind of fascinating, right? Like trying to understand the forces that shape wealth in our world.
Yeah, exactly. What are the industries that are minting these mega fortunes? What global trends are we seeing?
And maybe some hidden patterns we can uncover.
For sure.
Okay, let's start with the top 10. No surprise here, Elon Musk is at number 1.
$251.3 billion. Just incredible.
Powered by, Tesla and SpaceX, of course.
Musk really embodies how tech is driving so much wealth creation these days.
Right, but it's not the whole story. I mean, look at the rest of the top 10. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Gates, Ellison.
All those familiar names.
We're really seeing the lasting power of these tech giants.
Even when the founders step back a little.
Like Page and Brin at Google.
Exactly. They're not involved in day-to-day operations anymore, but
they're still raking it in.
right, it makes you wonder what passive income looks like at that level.
Seriously, it's like they built these money-making machines.
Absolutely.
And then you've got legacy wealth, too, like the Walton family, the Walmart heirs.
Oh, yeah.
Holding on to multiple top spots. That's a whole different story.
It really is. Generational wealth like that has a huge impact, shaping the economic landscape for years and years.
Definitely raises questions about how wealth is distributed, passed down through families.
And how that affects society as a whole.
For sure. And you can't talk about wealth distribution without talking about Asia.
Right.
I mean, the U.S. still dominates the list, but
India and China, their billionaire ranks are growing so fast.
like Gautam Adani from India, he's all the way up at number 16 now, $72.5 billion, mostly from infrastructure and commodities.
It's a great example of what's happening in emerging markets.
Yeah.
Governments investing heavily in infrastructure creates tons of opportunities.
For entrepreneurs like Adani.
Exactly. And we're seeing similar things in other rapidly developing countries, too.
So tech might be the big player, but it's not the only game in town. I mean, look at Bernard Arnault. Number 2, $200.7 billion.
The luxury goods sector is having a serious moment.
People are spending big money on high-end brands. Louis Vuitton, Dior.
It's about more than just the product, though, isn't it? It's a lifestyle. It's status.
Yeah, for sure. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have fast fashion doing incredibly well, too.
Amancio Ortega, the founder of Zara. Number 12, with $101.8 billion.
That speed and affordability, it's a recipe for massive wealth.
It is. But it does raise some questions, too.
Definitely.
About sustainability, ethics, things we should dig into more later.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about Zhong Shanshan.
Number 18, $67.3 billion.
From China's huge consumer market, beverages, pharmaceuticals, all sorts of stuff.
Shows the potential there.
Yeah. It's really interesting how the sources of wealth are becoming more diverse. Like, it's not just Silicon Valley anymore.
Right. It's everything. Infrastructure to luxury to everyday products makes you think about what it all means for the rest of us. These global trends. What do you think?
Yeah, it really is fascinating to see how these individual stories, connect to the bigger picture.
Right. It's like the list is a snapshot
Of the global economy in action. Shows you which industries are booming, the regions that are growing fast.
The entrepreneurs who are taking advantage.
Right.
Makes you think about the future, too. We've seen how tech, luxury, even fast fashion, they create these huge fortunes. But what about the next wave of billionaires?
Right.
What are those industries that haven't even been imagined yet?
That's the fun part. Trying to predict the future.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'd say renewable energy. I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The world needs sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
Got to deal with climate change and all that.
Exactly. Whoever figures out how to provide clean energy, make it affordable globally,
They're going to solve one of the biggest problems we have.
and probably make a ton of money doing it.
Right. But energy's not the only area ripe for disruption. What about space?
Oh, yeah. Space exploration is getting really interesting.
SpaceX, Blue Origin, these companies are pushing boundaries.
And you got space tourism, asteroid mining.
Lunar real estate.
It's not science fiction anymore. It's becoming reality. They're saying the space economy could be worth trillions
Trillions. Wow.
in the next few decades. So anyone who gets in early.
Could be sitting on a gold mine. Or I guess a moon mine, right? I love it. But seriously, do you think the profile of a typical billionaire, like, will that change as these new industries come up and the sources of wealth are more diverse?
It's possible. That image we have, the older
Yeah.
white guy who made his money in finance or something.
Yeah.
We might start to see more young entrepreneurs, more diversity,
More women.
especially women, I think, driven by these cutting-edge fields.
That would be exciting to see.
Definitely.
All this talk about trends and innovation, it reminds me of the billionaires who are actually using their wealth to try and make a difference.
Yeah.
We mentioned Mackenzie Scott earlier, her philanthropy work.
Really challenges how we think about billionaires, right?
Totally. She's giving so much money away, focusing on social issues.
Giving directly to organizations doing the work on the ground.
It's a very different approach.
It is. It's not about building a big foundation or legacy projects. It's about empowering people.
Makes you wonder how these billionaires think about their role in society,
Yeah.
the impact they want to have.
It's an important question. Is just getting rich, is that really all there is? Or is there something more? I think every billionaire on this list, they have to grapple with that.
And it's not just them, right? It's something we should all be thinking about. All this wealth concentrated in so few hands.
Yeah, it raises big questions about inequality, social responsibility.
The role of capitalism.
It's complicated, no easy answers.
Yeah.
But this Forbes list, it gives us a place to start.
Yeah. It's not just about the rankings and the money. It makes you think about these bigger issues.
Exactly. Innovation, emerging trends, and, what it means to have a responsibility when you have that much wealth.
It's interesting to think about Mark Mateschitz, inherited the Red Bull fortune.
Oh, wait.
Only 31 years old. That's a lot to handle.
It is. Very different from someone like Scott, who's actively giving her wealth away.
Makes you think about the choices they make and what kind of impact they'll have.
Definitely. Inherited wealth is complicated. Lots of challenges, especially at a young age.
And then you have Giovanni Ferrero, the Nutella king. It reminds you that even the simplest pleasures can lead to, incredible wealth.
Nutella, who doesn't love it, right? Proves you don't need some complicated formula to be successful.
Yeah, sometimes it's the simple things.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot today. Tech, luxury, candy. But for me, the most interesting part is how it all makes you think about the things that are shaping our world, the possibilities for the future.
That's really what this deep dive is all about. The path to becoming a billionaire. It's not just one straight line.
Right.
It's a mix of trends, brilliance, market forces, and of course, a little bit of luck.
Right. Being in the right place at the right time with the right idea.
Exactly.
But it's not just luck, is it? You have to be able to see those opportunities. You have to take risks.
You got to have the drive to see your vision through.
Yeah, it seems like the billionaires that really make a mark are the ones who are thinking bigger.
Right. Not just chasing money, but trying to solve big problems, make the world better.
Right, like they have a vision for the future.
Exactly. And as those opportunities, they change and evolve with technology, what consumers want. The big question is, what's next?
What's going to create the next generation of billionaires?
Right. What are those industries we haven't even thought of yet?
It's so fascinating to think about, like trying to predict the future.
Yeah, it's like which one of these seeds is going to grow into the biggest tree?
Right, we got to look for clues.
Exactly. What problems need solving? What do people want? What trends are happening?
We talked about renewable energy and space exploration, but what about AI?
Oh, yeah. Artificial intelligence is huge.
Biotechnology, personalized medicine, all that.
Those fields could completely change our lives.
Imagine if we could get rid of diseases, reverse aging.
Boost human potential with AI.
The people who make those breakthroughs, they won't just be rich.
They'll be shaping the future of humanity.
It's a pretty amazing thought. It reminds you that, making money, it can actually be a force for good.
Yeah, it can drive innovation that helps everyone, not just the person getting rich.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this billionaires list, we want to leave you with a little challenge.
A thought-provoking one.
Keep your eyes open, be curious, and don't be afraid to try new things.
Those future fortunes, they're starting now.
Yeah.
And with a little vision, some courage,
And a lot of hard work.
you might just be the one planting those seeds, watching them grow into something incredible.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about your success story on a future episode of The Deep Dive.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep aiming high.
Because the world of wealth and innovation, it's full of surprises. And the future, well, the future is wide open. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.